Hey everyone, my name's Dan Griffin and welcome to the Discovered Fireside Chat brought to you by Clevu. I'm joined by our longtime partner, Vlad Pavich from Omnycode. Vlad, it's great to have you here. We appreciate you taking the time to tell a little bit about your business and talk a little bit about commerce and product discovery.
Dan, thank you so much. Pleasure is mine.
You
Thank you.
know, we'd love to jump right in. It's really important for us to understand how agencies work in the commerce space. There's a lot of challenges that are happening right now, whether it's post-pandemic, pending recession, whatever that happens to be. Maybe you could start by sharing a little bit about, your firm, Omnicode, and kind of where you focus.
Well, certainly. The story of Omnicode is not so long. It's relatively brief. We are a 5-year old boutique agency located in Manhattan, New York, and truly Omnicode's passion lies in helping small to mid-sized businesses grow their e-commerce stores. We truly believe in the power of digital transformation, and we really want to be the drivers of change. Um, as a certified partner of multiple e-commerce platforms, both SaaS and open source, we're truly capable of tackling and growing the websites and integrating those websites within the omnichannel channel and digital infrastructure. So we typically help clients grow in two areas. First one is conversion, and second one is traffic. So we all know conversion is very important, right? Most e-commerce stores really struggle to take advantage of their traffic by not optimizing it for conversion. We help such businesses by redesigning their websites either from scratch or tweaking the existing design to really help them get the most out of the traffic that they get at the moment, whether it's organic or paid traffic. Um, so, and by doing this, we have generated over $20 million in additional revenue for our clients, which actually bakes into our approach a little bit as to how quantitative we are. And on the other hand, we also help customers with traffic. Traffic acquisition techniques are typically broken down into um, Google advertising, engine optimization, social media, and Instagram, Facebook, and right now, recently, as of recent, we've started doing TikTok advertising and YouTube advertising as well. So to recap, um, we call ourselves a full service agency, but there are four pillars of our expertise: strategic consulting, web development, e-commerce marketing, and business analytics.
Oh, well, cool. I'm coming back to your points about data and the different channels that you're helping your merchants engage in because, as we've spoken in the past and when you've worked with Clever, there's a lot about these different channels and the data that goes around it where you help counsel your merchants on making certain levels of investment and putting some, time, money, and effort into just organizing a strategy and executing. But you also have another portion of your business that you bring to your clients. I want to talk about OmniInsights, the CDP that you have, that's proprietary to you. One of the things that's really interesting right now as we kind of move more into global commerce, and we have technology companies respecting people's privacy and starting to adopt privacy measures. So with like GDPR and then Apple tightening, the privacy rules around user data and access. Can you talk a little bit about how that's impacted OmniInsights and also like what is OmniInsights?
Certainly, certainly, and thank you so much for bringing this up. One of the things that sets us really apart is our proprietary platform called Omnycode Insights. Essentially, it is a platform that helps companies, omnichannel brands, visualize their data. So think of a Google Analytics on steroids. The ability of Omnicode Insights gives the ability to visualize any kind of data coming from over 110 different channels, whether it's Google Analytics, your e-commerce platform, your ESP, ERP, warehouse data, and any other advertising tool possible. We're also capable of actually bringing the data under one umbrella from custom data sources, things that you have you thought that you don't know about your business could be brought together under one beautiful looking dashboard or report, or sent to you in an email, um, uh, every week, every month, what have you. So typically the way brands and merchants really get value from Omnycode Insights is twofold. First of all, we help brands strategically. At any given point, you are able to visualize um, KPIs that you really have not been thinking about. We're talking about not only how many orders, how many customers you have, what are the sales and the revenue. We're talking about things like conversion rate per channel. We're also talking about things like customer lifetime value, which is very, very important, and things like cost that is broken down, things like net operating cost that is broken down per channel, and actually takes into account your shipping rates as well as other operating costs. So all of these things, combined, help brands strategically because they have the visibility into different trends. Our platform has a very vast customer segmentation, which actually can add to what your e-commerce platform can do, and even certain ESPs can do. That customer segmentation can be easily synchronized into your email service provider segment, like Klaviyo and MailChimp, and then you can utilize this data to send specifically tailored emails. All of this really saves time and helps brands operationally, which is the second way how brands really take advantage of our platform. Think of a on I- think of a day of a marketing manager that, instead of running Excel spreadsheets for half a day, could click a few buttons within our platform and get exactly what he needs to, as and spend the rest of the time making actionable decisions about how to run their business. Um, and that's just basically Omnicode in a nutshell. The platform starts at a few $100s a month, but it's we're very flexible with different brands, and we really try to work with brands that are small to mid-size, that do not necessarily have enough resources for their own standalone data department. So, having said that, um, you know, we have been actually very concerned as of recent, as to how the GDPR and CCPA laws have been evolving. We also have been have been keeping a hand on a pulse of Facebook and Meta changes into into the privacy. So, one of the ways we really protect our consumer data, because we do touch upon multiple data sources, is that, first of all, we have a multi-layer factor authentication on our platform. Aside from a typical two-factor authentication, we have additional processes in place to protect your passwords. As of recent, our team has come out with a more frequent password update process, which is basically you have to generate a password every week. And there are also some additional tools, like the latest version of Google's CAPTCHA, that is set in place when you're running certain processes. In the meantime, we're also suggesting our clients, to have dedicated pages and dedicated processes for GDPR and CCPA. Not only landing pages, but also processes. We also have come across a few companies that do it really well. You can visit our website, and there's some information on our site as to what you can do.
I love how you break this down. I think a lot of times when you talk about, specifically gathering insights and making actionable choices, you get you get thought leadership coming from an enterprise approach. And small, medium businesses expect enterprise abilities, and they also expect someone like you to help them kind of build a roadmap to execute on those abilities. So I want to pivot back a little bit to your approach to merchants. When we think about commerce, you have a pretty straightforward but really smart approach to how you engage with merchants. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, certainly. So one of the things that really sets us apart is our approach. So one of the reasons we actually started looking into analytics platform is a big problem that quite a lot of agencies have right now. The days of cold emailing, cold calling, catchphrases in the subject line, "Hey, we can grow your business," are gone. Um, a lot of potential clients, a lot of merchants want some actionable data and want something that they don't know about their business. That really prompted us into looking at the tool that can gather this data in a very quick, concise manner. Under the free trial or under a specific NDA, we could gather this information, and Omnycode Insights is helping us get the initial conversation with a potential client. That basically explains the quantitative approach into our sales process, because um, we are we our goal is to solve a specific problem.
Right.
Finding those unknowns is our goal. And numbers don't lie. Typically, they show certain picture. They show certain weaknesses. Those weaknesses are very easily identified with our platform, which we utilize quite a lot in our discovery process. From there, we go into a product discovery process that is typically uh, it typically means that we're engaged not only designer but also business analyst, a person who really looks in our platform all the time, every single day, and understands different e-commerce trends, as well as some of the strategic key stakeholders. We all get together and understand as to what kind of impact decisions we should make with the specific project, and what kind of blend of services uh, does a specific brand or merchant need to grow their omnichannel business. Quite a lot of times it's not just website. Quite a lot of times it's website and brick and mortar store, website and obviously, let's address the elephant in the room: Amazon strategy. Um, sometimes it's all together. Sometimes it's multi-channel approach, and how do we capture the customer's attention throughout the journey? Because we all know customers just don't come and start converting. Customers have their own way to learn about the product, and that does not happen on one device. It does not happen on one channel, and those are the complexities that we're facing. What really helps us being equipped is quantifiable component, understanding what uh, certain KPIs are not there, could be improved. Certain things are being done well, right? Quite a lot of times we have these merchants that come to us. They have a functioning business, but they have a specific problem to resolve, and that also takes a specific expertise. and analysis during the project approach. And that's basically who we are. I think that also bakes into why we would like to keep ourselves boutique, very focused. We pick who we work with. We typically don't take everyone just because, and we're pretty honest and straightforward. Whether we can or cannot help merchant. Quite a lot of times it takes two to tango. So we also would like to make sure that the business model is there, as well as the product itself is a promising, especially if it's a startup.
No, it's refreshing to hear you describe that. I was smiling a little bit because you didn't want to talk about where Omnycode Insights starts from a pricing model. And we at Clever, we kind of do the same thing. Insights or CDPs that produce insights and product discovery. A lot of times companies want to lead with price because they want to make it a commodity. And like, and it sounds like you agree, like, I just couldn't disagree more with that approach. It's like, it doesn't matter if it costs $5, $50, $500, $5,000. It doesn't matter. It does matter a little bit in budget, but you have to make smart business decisions. So if you're immediately jumping in on functionality and price, you forget all the stuff you just talked about, which is, what are the seminal problems? How do we line those up in a logical roadmap, or at least prioritize them, knock out one or two, show return on that. That always is going to cover the cost of this subscription that's so daunting when you ask for price. And then you can work into this other piece of a roadmap. It's just such a customer-centric or merchant-centric approach. And I wish more people thought that way. It's results-driven, right? It's not body shop driven.
Yeah, correct. Look, without bashing anyone, not everyone has a sort of like a measurable approach to the returns. They look at the certain e-commerce expenses, e-commerce related expenses, and I'm sure you came across the same things, with Clevo sales process, as like, look, this is just an expense on our e-commerce budget, and I'm sorry, an X amount is something that we won't be able to afford. Well, guess what? The days of an ROI on zero investments are over. We all know that there has to be some kind of investment into potential growth. We also know how important on-site search is for anyone's customer's journey. We have dozens of conversations every week with different merchants at the different life cycle of their company, whether it's a beginning brand, a mature brand, a brand that is about to, shut a part of their services down. On-site search is one of the most important components, and we know that data shows us that on-site search contributes to 50% higher conversion rate, 50% lower bounce rate, about 70% more pages per session, and obviously that resonates in an amazing revenue spike. So, I mean, all of the factors are in favor of making that session being a search involved session. So we would like people to interact with search. We would like people to find what they're looking for, regardless whether they came in to look for something or just to browse.
Right.
It is our goal to convert that customer to use that search component, and therefore find what they're looking for and convert. Well, thankfully, you guys have done an amazing job with that. You're one of the leading partners of Omnycode, and one of the leading providers in search technology. Some of the things like natural language processing, data enrichment, product recommendations, as well as many other very interesting machine learning things that you guys have helped tremendously with our clients.
That's super gracious of you to say that. I do appreciate it. I want to keep moving down this path, right? And so we share a client, and the client is Som Sellers Wine. But before we get to Som Sellers, because it's an interesting thing. If you've been a merchant that's received and in the B2C space, if you've been a merchant that's seen a demo of Clevo in context with their business, like a retailer, you've probably seen us show off this site because it is amazingly elegant. It is highly complicated in the variants that happen behind the scenes with these products. But yet at the end of the day, you took your approach from a product or a project perspective and made it about an experience to help someone get to that particular bottle or variety of wine they were looking for. So maybe you could give a background on Som Sellers, just kind of the company. And then I love the UX side of that. Maybe share how you got to that design.
Certainly. Well, honestly, Som Sellers um, completely was an inbound lead. The two gentlemen called us and said, "Hey guys, we have a startup idea. We're two ex-sommeliers, and we would like to open up a wine store / e-commerce business." And we, without hesitation, we had a couple of conversations with these two amazingly knowledgeable gentlemen who have spent the most of their career in hospitality, and one of their last jobs was managing a very expensive portfolio of vintage wines in one of the most expensive restaurants in New York City. So the gentleman expressed their willingness to work with us. But in the beginning, we realized as to, okay, what really sets you apart? We started asking them questions as to, okay, there's so many wine stores, there's so many wine collections, there's so many wine collections that, is like yours. What exactly are you guys specializing on? So the product discovery was quite vast, and I think that led to a few outcomes. First of all, we realized that the amount of product attributes is going to be immense. So we need to give the ability to customers, to give the ability to find wines to the customers. After a catalog restructure and the implementation of the Shopify platform, we realized that at the centerpiece of the design, we have to have a journey of someone finding the wine according to their query. Without any hesitations, we outlined Clevo right away, just because of so many things that you guys can provide right out of the box. And obviously design. I mean, the design was very important for the gentleman. They also wanted to have a very simple functionality, but at the same time, at the same time, we realized that this is going to be like a lot of complex processes. So Clevo helped us tremendously in generating the right, in serving the right data, the right product data, the right search data to the customers. Whereas Omnycode went ahead and wrapped this into a custom design. Together with your team, we worked very closely. We've installed Clevo on a custom theme using your JavaScript library version 2. We've installed quite a lot of modifications to the filtering system, and the brand is also using a Clevo category merchandising tool as well. So overall, this was a very successful project. Up until this day, we received quite a lot of positive words into, hey guys, I can type in Burgundy over 100 and I get exactly what I'm looking for in exact ways that I want to. And I can also filter down by the different region and year. That's all what I was looking for.
Right.
How come not everyone is doing this? Well, it's again, it's a story of a lot of complexities wrapped up into very simple UX UI design that converts.
You spent a bunch of time going back to that buyer's journey, right? I mean, that it mattered, and that's what I do love about it. It's elegant in its kind of graphical approach. It's elegant in its interaction experience, but you could take someone like me who doesn't know a whole lot about wine, but does like to drink wine, and someone who is kind of very deep into, understanding exactly what they want. And, Clevo was a perfect complement for sure. I was shocked. We just released our product benchmark report, and you just described, I'd like a Burgundy under $100. And people say that, and that's how, like, they talk into their phone, and that's what goes in the search bar. And you have to be able to process that natural language like you talked about earlier. And now you don't have buyers leaving sites and abandoning a search and abandoning the site and then abandoning the merchant, because it's all the same, that the negativity bias. And so now I can process that. And I was just shocked that the number was 74% of merchants in North America can't process natural language.
Wow.
And it's just like, it's shocking.
Staggering.
It's so
Staggering.
easy. And to our point earlier of price wars, and like, I get to your point, it's not a shot at anything, but it's like the outcome that comes from being able to react the way people talk.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
it's
put it in
simple.
head.
Yeah. So I was going to say it's simple math to, look, there's 74% of people, we're not capturing, we're not getting, we're not serving what they're asking for. Burgundy over 100. Some of the people, like, think about misspellings. How many people misspell things? That's a huge factor, and not a lot of search. I mean, we're not even talking about the native
Right.
search that is provided by e-commerce platforms, but not even like all search providers provide a really good, easy to use misspelling tackling process. But you guys do, which is important. But at the end of the day, it's all math. All of these sessions need to be converted into the sessions that use search. They interact with search. They are likely to convert into the customer. And this is what we see. We see quite an incredible result with conversion rates rising on some sellers as they move along into their third year of business. We see that the things that we do in the back end of the merchant center of Clevo have an impact. Whether it's a zero result searches expanded, whether it's an expanded amount of synonyms because they have so many interesting like variations of wine, or even misspellings because people do misspell French words.
Sure.
We need to tackle that problem as well. Help Clevo has been fantastic for us.
So I'm gonna take us home with this last question.
Sure.
And this is a little bit less about Clevo and more about Vlad and kind of how you interact with your merchants. We are facing a kind of a state right now where merchants are getting more focused on the money they're spending as they look at economy.
Yeah.
Are there any, tips for a merchant around UX and CX? Just like small things to start to look for, not necessarily with search, but just in general, where they can think about, how does my business work? And it's a really broad question, but are there things that you would think about just to help them make a big impact, whether it's stay focused on what you're doing? It's really broad, but I'd love to get your kind of sense on how do you get quick wins in this environment?
It has certainly been tough environment. We see that a lot of merchants are not focused about they're not really focused about their upcoming pipeline or additional functionality or additional spend. They're focused about, oh well, am I going to be able to refill my inventory in time because there are
Right.
shipment delays, because there are component price increases. Then we have a military conflict in Europe going on. What is the impact of this on my global business, because e-commerce is global. Let's get real. One of the quick wins here, I think, is really focusing on the client's needs. You start really with the conversation as to what exactly they are looking for. We found quite a lot of customers are paying attention to their customer retention. And that bakes into recommendations.
Right.
And website personalization. So website personalization to us is all about customer retention. We try to explain this to the customer. It's not about the customer. It's about it's about you keeping the customer. Definitely start with the website personalization. That's a big buzzword, and a lot of people are talking about it this year. Obviously, continued mobile optimization, ability to start a cart or a purchase journey on mobile, finalize it on desktop. Always a good win. um, Mobile friendly approach towards everything, actually, not only conversions but also the website appearance. um, privacy and privacy. Customers like to hear that. They would like to be complied. So it's
Awesome.
important.
That's also true. My piece is I have two teenagers. It's make sure if that's a valid segment for you, make sure you are where they are. You mentioned that you've gone into places where, like someone like me, like TikTok, I get it, but I don't get it, right? Like you have to
Exactly.
be willing to experiment a little bit, right? You have to go where your buyers or your future buyers are. Brand affinity is real, right?
Hmm.
Don't assume brand affinity starts at an age. It can start at various places, and think about that and look for those niche areas to create brand champions
Yeah.
as they grow for whatever age happens to be. I think
Correct.
that
Yeah. Like last year, it was like TikTok. Everyone was talking about TikTok. Well, okay, what are you gonna do with TikTok? And we understand this is like a lot of people, a lot of like a bunch of teenagers are making a ton of money on TikTok. Okay, what does it mean for your brand? What does it mean for the rest of the group? Have you done an proper analysis? Have you done a research of your target audience? What is the percentage of your target audience really use TikTok? That also is a big factor. Look, at the end of the day, I think the world of e-commerce is changing rapidly. We are going to, in the next couple of years, we're gonna a lot of brands are sort of protecting their backs with understanding and making operations, delivery, supply chain more efficient. In the meantime, user experiences will not go anywhere. It still is going to be one of the main topics for everyone. There will be websites and business models that needed to be updated, designed, created, and I think our big picture is that looking ahead is look, I think search, on-site search, voice search, the ability to find what customers are looking for is going to remain very important in this environment.
and I know you agree, like add content, right? Add content to the equation. It's not just about product. It can be about interests, likes, blogs, what content that surfaces around the product that you sell. It definitely matters. So I think, Vlad, the best thing that someone could do is probably go to your website and read the Som Sellers case study. And so that'll be posted here in this webinar that we've had. And then we'll also make sure that you can get to that from the Klevu site. And Vlad, I really want to appreciate you take some time for us today. It's super helpful to hear from an expert out in the field. My name's Dan. This is Vlad. It's Discovered Fireside Chat brought to you by Klevu. Thanks, Vlad.
Thank you so much, Dan. Appreciate it.
Thank you.